In this video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of the DJI Mic 3 in regards to timecode and how it plays nice with other devices like this Tentacle Sync Track E. First of all, we're going to get into use cases and also a wish list, which I think they can implement via firmware. And that would be great if they could just increase the versatility of this little unit. And I would buy a bunch more receivers, not just because they work with my DJI Mic 3s, but because they are a great timecode box. More on that in a little bit later. First of all, after you turn this on, we're going to turn this on. I'm going to put this one on indoors. This is my left mic and this is my right mic. They're both on right now, but let's get right to the timecode. Drop that down, scroll over if you need to the timecode. And you can use this as both a master and as a slave, which is great. So if it is off, whoops, which mine is because it's got this little thing plugged in, I am going to take that down, go all the way over to timecode again and turn that on. And here it can be master run or it can be also a slave, and that depends on what your L setting is. L in means it will receive a signal via the 3.5mm input jack so that it can sync with external timecode generators. Let's do that right now. And this is what the Wireless Pro lacked. It did not allow me to use external timecode generators and Jam Sync to it, whereas this one does. So you notice that on my Tentacle Sync Mark II, it has the red flashing light. So that means it's not sunk to anything else. I'm just going to go into my app here and I'm going to sync that so that it is sunk. So now my blue timecode little box is working perfectly. So now if I just plug in the included cable on the DJI Mic 3, I can plug that in and voila, you will take a look that it says that it's plugged in. But also I'm going to press the sync button and you'll notice that the number will now match the timecode that I see on my little box here. It's really tiny, but you'll have to trust me that it went from 00 to 1132, etc., etc. So that works perfectly. Let's reset this and we're going to reset that so that we use this as the master now. So instead of L in, I'm going to go to L out. And this is what our Tentacle Sync will want to hear. And from here, it says master run. I've set my thing. So right now, what's going to happen, I've got to set my Tentacle Track E to slave mode. So I'm going to turn that off by pressing and holding the slider. So now the LED blink light is off. When I turn it on, make sure you don't hold it for too long and it goes into a blinking red state. And that means this is ready to receive timecode input to Jam Sync the Tentacle Sync to another master. So right now I'm going to, let's say, reset the timecode. So it says 00 here on the little tiny box. And if I plug this in, you'll notice that it is sending timecode out and this will soon turn green, meaning that this Tentacle Sync is now having the timecode that was sent via this little box. So if I want to confirm this, I can open up my app again. I can take a look here and you'll notice that the timecode is 00 instead of what it was previously time of day 11. So right now it is sunk. So you can use this as a master or a slave. So they've bested Wireless Pro on that. Perfect. Now, this is where I kind of want to get into the nitty gritty and my wish list for DJI. I love this Hotshoe adapter that I purchased separately so that I can actually use this and put 4 channels, if I wanted to buy 2 more transmitters, into my Sony, okay? But right now, if you take a look at this L-OUT mode, you'll notice that my 1 and 2 channels are clipping on my Sony. That's because not only is the timecode being sent via the 3.5mm jack, it is also being sent timecode out via the Hotshoe. And that's a problem. Well, why is it a problem? Because there is no reason for me to ever send timecode out this jack, I don't believe, because I still have this port and the Sony has the micro USB port. And Tentacle Sync makes a cable, and it's this special cable here that allows me to plug in a 3.5mm jack into my Tentacle Sync. And I can go right into the port, the micro USB port on the side of my camera. And I've got timecode generated and sunk here. And you'll notice that this now timecode syncs with that timecode. And that is not via the audio, that is via this cable, which is incredible. Now, the weird thing about this is I wish DJI, if you could want to make an implementation where I could have timecode coming out the 3.5mm jack and also quad audio via the Hotshoe, that would be ideal. That way I could use this cable and plug it in here, get timecode out into my camera so that the video files have timecode embedded while also having up to 4 channels of audio via the Hotshoe recorded into that little camera. So that would be my ideal setup. Strangely, I have tried to use this cable with the L-OUT and it does not work. So I'm not sure what special magic Tentacle Sync is doing with their boxes that allows this cable to work. But DJI, I'm sure you're smart enough to figure out how to make a locking cable and go into the micro USB port of the Sony to make sure that we can get nice, tight timecode. Why would this matter? And another reason why this is of benefit to DJI to do this is because I would buy a bunch of these boxes just for timecode because they're cheaper than a Tentacle Sync timecode box. They are as accurate, about 1 frame every 24 hours, they claim, of drift. And that would allow me to use this little box not only as a receiver on every one of my cameras, but as a timecode sync via the micro USB. And that really increases the value of this unit for me. Another super wish list I hope they implement is I love these little DJI Mic 3s, but they don't have a mic input. That's okay, but what if they made a Mic 2 Pro or Mic 3 Pro that integrated with this unit, and I could buy 2 of those that would have a Lav input, and I could integrate them with these 2 that don't have a Lav input. And that way I could choose when I need to mix and match, whether I need to hide the Lav or I don't need to hide the Lav. And I've got everything running off this little guy, which also has Timecode Sync. That would be my ideal setup. So thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Did I miss anything? Ask any questions in the comments below. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.